Hi, I'm a student at Northeastern living in Boston. If you are moving to Boston anytime soon and are having tough time finding an accommodation, then this video is for you. You must be having multiple questions like where to find an apartment, where to find roommates, if you should stay on lease, what are the pros and cons of not staying on lease, stuff like that. So please watch this video till the end for some tips and answers for most of your questions. Namaste yo, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Shri aka Natsu Sheiks. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about off-campus housing in Boston, especially for Northeastern students. So without any further ado, let's just quickly get into the video. I know how difficult it is to find accommodation in places like Boston, especially where everything is expensive. I have been doing this for myself since 2 months now, and it is not until yesterday I could find an apartment for myself. So this video is gonna be in two parts. In part one of this video, I'm gonna be talking about basic things that you should keep in your mind while looking at a house. And in part two, I'll be talking about how to find some leads for your accommodation and the websites to look for, as well as how to connect with your roommates. So talking about the list, my first priority would be living in a safe neighborhood. So here are some areas that most of the students prefer living. They are Boylston, Fenway, Kenmore, and you can also prefer Longwood, Jamaica Plain, and some students also live in Brighton. So these are the areas that I would suggest you to live in, but I highly recommend you all to not choose an apartment anywhere around Roxbury or Dorchester. Some parts of Roxbury is still claimed to be safe, but I myself wouldn't dare living in Roxbury. But Dorchester is a big no, because that area is really shady, so that is something any student would avoid. So second and the most important aspect would be cost of living. As we all know how expensive Boston is, and if you want to spend minimal amount on your rent, then you can try living on a hall spot. So you can find a good hall spot usually around $400 to somewhere in between $500, or even less than that. But if you want to live in a bedroom but then share it with a person, then you can find it around $500 to $700, somewhere in between. But if you don't want to share your room with anyone else, then you can go for a private room, and a private room can cost you somewhere around $750 to $1,000. So another thing to look at would be distance from your house to university. So Northeastern University students has this off-campus shuttle called Red Eye. So if you want to access Red Eye during nights, you will have to live within 2 mile radius from university. So most of the students prefer that. But if you are okay with commuting all by yourself, I mean via public transport and not using Red Eye, you can still choose to live around up to 5 miles. But the thing is, the closer you live to university, it is assumed that the higher rent you'll have to pay. But also when you're living far away from the university, it would be a bit difficult for you to commute, but you can expect houses at a cheaper price. Another aspect to look at would be public transport. Make sure you are living close to a bus stop or a subway station. Like say 5 to 10 minutes walk from your house should do. So Boston has one of the best public transport connectivities in the States. Most of the students and also some of the working professionals also prefer traveling via public transport itself. So they have buses and subway connects to all the areas, most of the areas in Boston. It also connects to Cambridge and other suburbs as well. I try to attach the map here. You can just take a look at the subway stations. So there are multiple lines on the subway. We have green line, orange line, purple line, silver, and many more. So out of all of these, we have direct connections with green line and also orange line. Students prefer living around these two lines, but most preferably students live around green line, because that is way more faster and also it's safer as well. But living around orange line should be fine as well. So some of the students who live around JP come to university via Orange Line. So if you're coming to the university via Orange Line, you should get down at Ruggles. But if you're coming through Green Line, you can just directly get down at Northeastern stop. So in some areas, there is no subway. In such areas, you can still use public transport, which is buses. So students who live in Roxbury and Dorchester usually come via 23 and 28 free buses. There are other buses as well, but you'll have to pay for all of those. But when it comes to these 23 and 28 buses, they are absolutely free. So again, if you're living closer to a tram station, or especially around Green Line or Orange Line, the prices of the houses are a bit high. But living far away where you don't even have access to subway, in such areas the prices are comparatively cheaper. But again, safety is something that you should be concerned about, so I would prefer staying as close to the uni as possible. Once these important aspects are sorted, you can either look at an apartment or a townhouse based on your preference. Preferably, it is said that apartments are more safe while townhouses are more peaceful. So it just comes with what you prefer. Either ways, if you find an apartment or a townhouse, try to get yourself a very well ventilated unit, because during winters it's gonna be really dark here, and the weather is quite depressive and gloomy. So try to get a well ventilated unit, that way you will feel better. While selecting a house, you can also look at move-in costs. So usually you will have to pay first month rent, last month rent, security deposit and brokerage fee. But for some of the houses, there wouldn't be brokerage fees. Try to get a house that has no brokerage fee. That way you can save up a lot. So I assume that by this point you must be having some understanding, and you have your preferences sorted. And yeah, once you're done with that, let's just move on to part 2. Now that you know what kind of place to stay in, you can look up for it in several websites. So the websites that I usually use are Zillow, StreetEasy, Roombay, and also apartments.com. I will give the link of all of these websites in the description box below. So my personal favorite among these websites is Zillow. I've been using Zillow from a very long time now. So to access this, just click on the link that I've given in the description box, and once you click on that link, the home page appears. So this is Zillow's homepage. In the search bar, enter the location that you want, and here you have multiple options. You can set the filters as per your need. So I'm looking to rent a place. Let's click on rent, and then you can enter the price range, the minimum and the maximum amount you are willing to pay a month. You can also select the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms you wish to have. The best feature about this website is that you can click on this draw option and then draw a boundary around the region or the regions you want to live in. Let's say I'm drawing a boundary around Back Bay, Brooklyn, and Jamaica Plain. Let's click on apply, and we get the list of rentals available in these regions as per our requirements. So once you have the broker's contact information, directly call them and ask if they can schedule you a virtual tour, or if you're here in the States, you can just directly go and take a look at the house. So here are a few things that you should keep in mind when you're talking with the landlord or broker, because ideally in most of the units, let's say for a 3-bed unit, only 3 people are supposed to stay in that house as per the landlords. But most of the international students, what we do is we try to share it with multiple people, and end up living at least 6 people in a 3-bed apartment. So this brings up a concept called staying on lease or off lease. So whoever are staying on lease will have to sign some documents, and the owner thinks that probably only these people are living in the house. So whoever are living off lease are the owner has no idea, the landlord has no idea that these people are technically living in the house. Some of the landlords are pretty chill. They are okay with extra number of people living in the house, but some of the landlords are very strict. They are very particular about the number of people on lease, and they only want those people to be living in the house. So let's talk about the pros and cons of staying on lease. So when you take a house, you sign the lease for at least 12 months, which is a year. But some people are not certain if they would be able to stay for a year in that house. So in such cases, I wouldn't suggest you to stay on lease. Try to stay off lease, because if you're living off lease, just find a replacement for your spot, and then you're okay to leave that space. But if you are staying on lease and you have to shift out of your house, then you have to break the lease, which is not possible, or you have to sublet your place to someone else, and all of this should happen in presence of the landlord. Both parties should be present in front of landlord, and the subleasing process happens. This is a very hectic process if people are indecisive and uncertain about few things that happen. So such cases, people stay off lease. So staying on lease has its own advantages. You have your address proof. So whenever you're applying for a state ID or say license or opening a bank account, it would be pretty easy for you, because you have your address proof in documents. So another advantage of staying on lease is that so when the landlord comes for a visit, be it whatever purpose it is, it could be because of maintenance issue, or they want to install new appliance or something of that sort, then people who are staying off lease shouldn't be present at house. So all of these people should be temporarily moving out. That would be an inconvenience for people who are staying off lease. Another reason why people prefer staying on lease is that when they're traveling in and out of country during immigration, in the worst case, the immigration officer might ask you for your address proof, might actually ask you to show your leasing documents. So during that time, if your name is there on the lease, there's no problem. But if your name isn't there and you show that address as your address proof, that might become an issue in certain cases. So students who are especially coming for the first time to the States, most of them prefer being on lease, just in case, what if they go to secondary immigration check, all their documents would be clear. But there's a catch. Here is an advantage for people who are staying off lease. If at all you are planning to move out of the city in 6 months or something of that sort, instead of breaking the lease and going, just try to stay off lease and then just find a replacement for your spot, and then you can conveniently shift out of that room. So based on your priorities, you can decide if you want to stay on lease, or staying off lease works for you as well. So talking about how to connect with people and find roommates. So technically, the ideal way would be joining Northeastern students off-campus housing accommodation groups. So there are plenty of these WhatsApp groups. You can also try connecting with people on LinkedIn. If you want links to those WhatsApp group, just comment down in the comment section below and I will send you the links. Just go through these groups regularly. There are a lot of people posting about accommodation every single day. So just try to connect with them, and hopefully you find your house and also your roommates soon. So I hope I have answered most of your questions, and feel free to ask any further questions regarding the same in the comment section below. Also, in my next video, I am planning to talk about the pros and cons of Northeastern University. So if you have any specific questions regarding that, you can either ask them in the comment section, or you can DM me to my Instagram account, NotSoChics. If you find this video helpful and looking forward to more such videos, please like, share and subscribe to NotSoChics. I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.